Hello students, in the last class we have discussed about how potential difference is measured with the help of potentiometer, and in that class we have seen the principle called Poggendorff's compensation principle is used in the working of potentiometer, in which an internal battery present in the potentiometer exactly compensates the potential difference generated by the external battery and measures the potential of external battery, right? This is how the Poggendorff's compensation principle works, and this is the principle behind the working of potentiometer, right? And the standard cell that is used in the measurement of a potential difference, that is used to calibrate the potentiometers, is Western cadmium cell, and we also have seen how to construct Western cadmium cell and the components in the anode reaction and cathode reaction in the Western cadmium cell. In this session, we are going to see what is cell reaction and how cell reaction is connected to electromotive force, and what is the sign of electromotive force, does EMF carries any sign or not, then what is electrochemical series, right? All these things we are going to discuss in this class. For example, the first question deciding what is the importance of cell reaction, the first question is that how polarity of the electrodes are determined. For example, you take an electrode and dip it into the solution. Say for example, zinc in the zinc sulfate solution and copper in the copper sulfate solution. When these two electrodes are connected with each other, one of the electrode acquires negative charge, the other electrode acquires positive charge. If the reaction that is taking place in both the compartments together is going to be spontaneous, right? So how do we know which electrode has acquired what charge is a question that has to be determined first. So to determine the polarity of the electrodes, it is necessary to connect the cell to the potentiometer. So what happens to determine the potential polarity of the electrode? Suppose if this is the electrode that I have constructed, say for example, this is zinc electrode that I have constructed, right? So you have zinc electrode is dipped in zinc sulfate solution or any zinc ion containing solution, and cadmium electrode, let me take for an example, you have a cadmium electrode is connected to cadmium 2 plus solution containing cadmium 2 plus ion, which is also connected through a salt bridge containing potassium nitrate. We will see what is the purpose of salt bridge later. And this, because zinc dipped in Zn2 plus ion solution and cadmium dipped in cadmium 2 plus ion solution, and if these two electrodes dipped into solutions is going to form a galvanic cell. We will see what is galvanic cell later. Galvanic cell is the one that is able to produce electricity from the chemical reactions, right? So if these two electrodes are connected to a potentiometer, then we will be able to decide the polarity of the different electrodes, right? For example, even potentiometer, I told you potentiometer has internal battery within it. That internal battery too will have positive electrodes and negative electrode, and if the wire that is connected to the positive terminal of the battery and the wire that is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, the electrode that is connected to the negative terminal of the battery is called anode. The wire that is connected to the positive terminal of the battery is called cathode, right? See, zinc is dipped in zinc sulfate solution, cadmium is dipped in solution containing cadmium 2 plus ions. I do not know which electrode has gained what charge, whether zinc is positive or negative or cadmium is positive or negative is not known to me. Then I am actually interested to find what is the polarity of these two electrodes, so that to find the direction of electricity or direction of electron flow. In order to find the polarity of these two electrodes are connected to the terminals of the potentiometer, and terminals of the potentiometer itself carries positive and negative charges, right? Potentiometer works based on the principle of Poggendorff's compensation principle, right? In that case, what we do, negative terminal of the battery in the potentiometer is connected to the negative terminal of the electrode. Similarly, positive terminal of a battery in the potentiometer is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, within which we are interested to measure the potential difference. So your potentiometer is connected to the galvanic cell such that the internal battery of a potentiometer exactly opposes the external galvanic cell. By compensating the external EMF, potentiometer measures the potential difference. So, from the compensation principle, from the working principle of potentiometer, we realize that those electrode which is connected to the negative terminal is actually carry negative charge, and those electrode which is connected to the positive terminal will actually carry a positive charge. Right? This is what the information that we get. And the next question arises when an electrode gains negative charge. Right? When an electrode gains negative charge. When electrode receives negative charge, the electrode gains negative charge. When the electrode receives negative charge, for example, if zinc atom present in the surface goes to the solution as Zn plus, leaving 2 electron, and 2 electron cannot go to the solution and will come to the electrode surface. Right? So this is how your electrode gains negative charge. So because of the process called oxidation reaction, your electrode gains 2 electron and your solution gains Zn2 plus ions. And because of excess Zn2 plus ion, your solution acquires positive charge and your electrode acquires negative charge. Solution acquired positive charge because of excess Zn2 plus ion. Your electrode acquires negative charge because of excess electrons. So the zinc electrode had acquired negative charge that we found from the potentiometer connection, and the negative charge to the zinc electrode came by the reaction called oxidation that is taking place at the surface of zinc electrode. Right? Similarly, the cadmium electrode had acquired positive charge known from the connection to the potentiometer, and the question arises where from the cadmium electrode acquired positive charge. That's because of a reverse reaction, that is reduction reaction. Cadmium 2 plus ion present in the solution would have taken 2 electron from the surface of the cadmium electrode, thereby making the electrode electron deficient. Say for example, deficient of 2 electron. Thereby cadmium 2 plus present in the solution become cadmium and gets deposited on the surface of the cadmium. By the time 2 electron in the electrode of a cadmium actually lost to the cadmium 2 plus, so that electrode acquires positive charge, 2 positive charges. If the reaction continues to happen, cadmium electrode becomes continuously deficient of electron because of depletion of electrons. It acquires positive charges because of depletion of electron. Right? So these are the 2 chemical reactions, oxidation and reduction, where oxidation is responsible for the development of negative charges at one of the electrode, and reduction is responsible for the development of positive charges at the other electrode. Right? Now these 2 reactions are responsible for the development of charges, negative and positive, at the 2 electrodes, and the polarity of these electrodes can be found from the connection to potentiometer. Right? And polarity also indicates the reaction that is taking place. A negative polarity of electrode indicates oxidation reaction. Positive polarity of electrode indicate reduction reaction. Right? So if I want to find the overall cell reaction that is taking place, you must understand one thing. Just because I am writing when it is connected to the potentiometer, remember this point. When the galvanic cell is connected to the potentiometer has an internal battery. That battery opposes the external battery EMF. Right? So in the negative electrode, electrons are pushed outward. From the zinc electrode, electrons pushed outward. When exactly compensated, the driving force for electrons coming from the potentiometer as well as the electron coming from zinc electrode exactly compensated. So there is no net flow of electron in any direction. So the current flow I is equal to 0 when your potentiometer exactly shows the potential difference between zinc and cadmium. Potentiometer is able to measure not the exact potential of zinc electrode or not the exact potential of cadmium electrode, but it is capable of measuring the potential difference between zinc electrode and cadmium electrode. Right? But it exactly compensates the driving force, electron driving force of the zinc electrode by its own electron driving force, so that there is no net electron flow within the circuit, and that is the reason why I is equal to 0 actually. So the potential, when you measure the potential difference using potentiometer, the net current that is flowing through the circuit is equal to 0. Right? Since no current flows through the circuit, when you measure the potential difference, This potential difference that is called open circuit voltage. It is called open circuit voltage because it is measured at no current situation, right? When no current flows, then what happens exactly at the electrode, the reversible reaction will take place. Not only zinc undergoes Zn2 plus and 2 electron, Zn2 plus acquires 2 electron, also becomes zinc. So there is a reversible reaction that is taking place at the zinc electrode. So at the zinc electrode itself, both oxidation and reduction takes place. At the cadmium electrode itself, both oxidation and reduction take place, right? So there is an equilibrium existing at the surface of electrode when it is connected to the potentiometer because no current flows. Because when galvanic cell is connected to the potentiometer, no net reaction had happened, no current had flown in the external circuit, equilibrium is established at the surface of the electrode. Hence, whatever reaction, whatever chemistry that you study when galvanic cell is connected to the potentiometer is called equilibrium electrochemistry, right? Because when it is connected to potentiometer, no chemical reaction, actually there are chemical reaction happens, but net effect is that there is no transfer of electron from one electrode to other electrode, no current. If the electrons are not coming out, no net chemical reaction had actually taken place at the surface. That means total effect of the entire reaction taking place at the anode and cathode together is going to be 0, right? Since I is 0, and I can conclude that no net reaction taken place together in both anode and cathode, and that is the reason why equilibrium is established at the surface of the electrode. I go on to call these electrochemistry that is studied by connecting the electrodes to the potentiometer as equilibrium electrochemistry, right? Then question naturally arises that if zinc undergoes oxidation, it deposits 2 electrons to the electrode, right? Suppose similarly in a reverse reaction, if Zn2 plus takes 2 electrons from the electrode, then that 2 electrons accumulated by the oxidation actually taken back by Zn2 plus, so that your zinc electrode should not have carried any negative charge at all, right? But the question arises, how zinc electrode acquired? Students, I think you are able to follow me. Just be careful in understanding the question, which is very important, right? The point is, in the absence of potentiometer, when zinc is dipped in zinc sulfate solution and cadmium dipped in cadmium sulfate or cadmium chloride solution, and zinc is directly connected to the cadmium, not through potentiometer. It is called short circuiting, right? When zinc is connected to the cadmium electrode directly, so there will be flow of electron that is taking place from the zinc electrode to the cadmium electrode. And how do you know the direction of electron? By connecting zinc and cadmium electrode previously to the potentiometer, we realized that zinc electrode is negative, cadmium electrode is positive. So electron would have emerged out of zinc electrode and went into the cadmium electrode. So if I remove the potentiometer now and short circuit zinc and cadmium electrode, short circuiting means I am connecting zinc and cadmium electrode directly, so that electron will come out of zinc electrode and go to the cadmium electrode. In that case, the equilibrium is destroyed actually. The equilibrium that is existing at the surface of the electrode, Zn equilibrium, Zn2 plus 2 electron. This oxidation reduction equilibrium between zinc and Zn2 plus taking place at the surface of the electrode is actually destroyed. In that case, only forward reaction happens. So the reaction is actually irreversible, no equilibrium exists. Similarly, in the second electrode, since electrons are coming continuously from the left hand side electrode, right, only reduction reaction will take place, forward reaction happens, cadmium keep on gaining electron, but the reverse reaction of oxidation will not take place, right? So when the electrodes are short circuited without potentiometer, in the left side electrode only oxidation happens, in the right side electrode only reduction happens, and no equilibrium exactly at the surface of the electrode, and the chemistry is called non-equilibrium electrochemistry, right? Understand this point. Instead of that, if the electrodes are connected to through the potentiometer, electron driving force of the battery inside the potentiometer and the electron driving force of the external galvanic cells are compensated so that there is no net flow of electron in the external circuit. Because of which there is a oxidation reduction equilibrium at the zinc electrode between zinc and Zn2+. Similarly, there is an oxidation reduction equilibrium between cadmium 2+ and cadmium at the right hand side electrode, cadmium electrode, right? So that equilibrium exists only when the electrodes are connected to the potentiometer and no current flows through the circuit. And this voltage that is measured under no current condition is called the open circuit voltage. This point has to be kept in mind. Then the question arises, under equilibrium conditions, when the electrodes are connected to potentiometer, if zinc undergoes oxidation, the forward reaction deposits to electron. 1 minute, students. That is, during forward reaction, the zinc atom deposits 2 electron to the zinc electrode. Similarly, during reverse reaction, the Zn2+ ion present in the solution takes up the same 2 electron from the electrode. So that if oxidation and reduction together happens on the surface, then there should not have been any excess charges that is left on the zinc electrode. If there were no excess charges on the zinc electrode, then potential of zinc should be 0. Same is the case that can be applied on the right hand side electrode also. So we expect that under equilibrium conditions, that is when the electrodes are connected to the potentiometer, both zinc and cadmium electrode to have absolute 0 potentials, so that potential difference should have also been 0. But actually, when these 2 electrodes are connected to potentiometer, equilibrium exists, but the potential difference is not 0. Since potential difference is not 0, absolute potential of zinc electrode is also not 0, cadmium electrode is also not 0. If absolute potential of zinc electrode is not 0, it means even under equilibrium conditions, zinc electrode carries certain amount of charges, and even under equilibrium conditions, cadmium electrode also carries certain amount of excess positive charges. Right? The point is, the crux is, even if equilibrium exists at the surface of the electrode, when the electrodes are connected to the potentiometer, your zinc electrode carries certain excess negative charges and cadmium electrode carries certain excess positive charges. The result is actually contrary to the point, because if equilibrium exists at the surface, zinc becomes Zn2+, deposits 2 electron, Zn2+ becomes zinc, takes up the 2 electron, then your electrode should not have any charge. But when it is connected to potentiometer, zinc electrode shows some potential, it shows that there are some excess negative charges. Then how could this be explained? This is explained based on the potential energy diagram. Right? For example, the potential profile diagram for an oxidation reaction can be written like this. Right? So this is the energy of zinc atom. This is energy of Zn2+ and 2 electrons. Right? If you see the diagram, you know from the chemical kinetics, rate of reaction depends on energy of activation. So energy of activation for forward reaction is denoted by E, energy of activation for a forward reaction. This is, and energy of activation for a backward reaction is given by, this. This is energy of activation for backward reaction. This is denoted by EP of a energy of activation, EA of a backward reaction, right? And if you compare, energy of activation for a forward reaction is lesser compared to energy of activation for a backward reaction. Because of this, what happens, right? Initially, since energy of activation for forward reaction is less, more number of zinc atom try to become Zn2+ and actually becomes Zn2+, right? Say for example, if I assume that 100 number of Zn2+ atom become 100 number of zinc atom become 100 number of Zn2+ and produced 200 electrons in the electrode. These 200 electrons are actually located in the zinc electrode because of the forward reaction in which 100 zinc atom has undergone oxidation, right? Initially, Zn2+ ion concentration in the solution will be less, because in the solution you have already Zn2+. All those Zn2+ actually compensated by anion. Say for example, if you have taken zinc sulfate, so all those Zn2+ is actually compensated by exactly sulfate minus. So there are no excess negative charges. But if oxidation happens, only Zn2+ ions are added to the solution. So for each oxidation of zinc, one of the Zn2 plus ion is added to solution. That added Zn2 plus ion has no counterpart sulfate ion, so that these two plus ion actually is not compensated. Your solution acquires positive charge, or I say positive potential, right? So initially the newly added Zn2 plus ion to the solution was concentration of newly added Zn2 plus ion will be less, right? As the time passes, more number of zinc would have oxidized to Zn2 plus, so concentration of newly added Zn2 plus ion, which are not compensated by the negative charge, increases within the solution. As the number of Zn2 plus ion increases within the solution, number of attempt for a backward reaction increases. Initially number of Zn2 plus is less, and all Zn2 plus will try to go backward. Since energy barrier is very high, many atoms would have failed, so backward reaction will be very slow. Now more number of Zn2 plus ion had generated. Since more number of Zn2 plus ion had generated, there will be more number of attempt for the backward reaction to cross the barrier from backward direction. Since more number of Zn2 plus are trying to cross the barrier, there will be more probability to cross the barrier from product side to reactant side, right? So the point is, initially rate of forward reaction will be more because you have more number of zinc and less number of Zn2 plus. As time progresses, concentration of Zn2 plus increases, so initially rate of backward reaction will be very low. As concentration of Zn2 plus increases, rate of backward reaction will also increase slowly. At some point of time, rate of forward reaction becomes equal to rate of backward reaction. Then I go on to say that the equilibrium exists at the surface of the electrode. But in any way, energy of activation for forward reaction is less and energy of activation for backward reaction is more. How this affect the reaction? Because how this affect the reaction? How energy of activation affect the position of equilibrium? For example, if 100 zinc atom has undergone oxidation, 100 zinc atom has undergone oxidation to produce 200 electrons, then I would have got 100 Zn2 plus ion. I would have got 100 Zn2 plus ion. When this 100 Zn2 plus ion trying to cross the barrier, not all attempts will be successful because reverse reaction energy barrier is very, very high. Out of 100 Zn2 plus, only 95 Zn2 plus is able to go for a backward reaction and 5 attempts fail. This is just for an example. This is quite reasonable example. This is because backward reaction energy of activation is more. So the number of attempts in the forward reaction will be more successful. The successful attempt in the forward reaction will be more compared to the successful attempt from the backward direction. So if 100 attempts are made, only 95 attempts may be successful in the backward direction. So that out of 100 Zn2 plus, only 95 Zn2 plus able to take up 190 electrons, because each Zn2 plus require 2 electrons. So 95 Zn2 plus is able to take up only 190 electron. So you would have got 95 zinc atom. Remember students, 100 zinc atom came from the electrode to the solution, out of which by reverse reaction only 95 gets deposited. Remaining 5 Zn2 plus ions remains in the solution, and the out of 200 electron that is deposited, only 190 electrons are taken by the Zn2 plus, taken back by the Zn2 plus, and 10 electron left in the electrode itself. So because of the difference in energy barrier between Zn and Zn2 plus, or I can say because of energy of activation difference. For example, energy of activation for oxidation is less, energy of activation for reduction is more. Because of this situation, when equilibrium reached, forward reaction, oxidation reaction would have occurred more compared to the amount of backward reaction. So equilibrium, the position of equilibrium lies little more towards the product side. Because of this, your left hand side electrode acquires some excess negative charge. In this hypothetical example, it acquires some 10 charges. When equilibrium reached at the surface of the electrode, your zinc electrode has extra 10 charges which was not actually taken back by the Zn2 plus ion present in the solution. Are you able to follow me, students? So we expect that exactly at the equilibrium rate of forward reaction becomes equal to rate of backward reaction. So oxidation, electrons deposited by the oxidation to the electrode has to be taken back by the reduction reaction, so that your electrode is expected to have zero charge and zero potential. Right? From the example that we've discussed, rate of oxidation is found to be more compared to the rate of reduction, or energy of activation for oxidation is less compared to the energy of activation for reduction. Because of this unequal situation of energy of activation, equilibrium slightly lies towards more product side. More number of oxidation would have happened compared to the number of reductions. This leaves certain number of excess electron on the surface of the electrode, and because of which your zinc electrode acquires negative charge even though there exists an equilibrium at the surface of the electrode. Since some excess charges exist, the electrode acquires negative potential. Same is the case in the reverse, in the right hand side electrode. In this case, what happens? So your product, your reactant, same diagram can be drawn here, but you have in the reactant side you have cadmium. So here you will have, this is the energy of reactant, this is energy of product. Energy of reactant is cadmium 2 plus and 2 electron. This is our reactant and cadmium is the product. You know, this is the energy of activation for a forward reaction. Forward reaction is reduction here, and this is energy of activation for a backward reaction, right? Energy of activation is backward reaction, and backward reaction is actually oxidation, because cadmium has to become cadmium 2 plus. Here backward reaction is oxidation, forward reaction is reduction. Whereas in the first case on the zinc electrode side, forward reaction is oxidation, backward reaction is reduction. So in the right hand side electrode, actually energy of activation for reduction is less, whereas energy of activation for oxidation is more. So reduction, number of reduction happens more compared to number of oxidation. You know, reduction means taking up electron from the electrode, making electrode electron deficient, and makes the electrode to acquire positive charge. Since number of reduction reaction taking place at the surface of the electrode is more compared to number of oxidation reaction at the equilibrium, there would have been certain excess positive charge left on the surface of the electrode when system reaches exactly equilibrium at the electrode, right? So due to the difference in energy of activation between the oxidation and reduction, right hand side electrode acquires excess positive charge, left hand side electrode acquires negative charge, though there exists a oxidation reduction equilibrium at both the electrodes. Because of this excess negative and positive charges, these two electrodes, zinc acquires certain absolute electrode potential which is not measurable. Cadmium acquires certain absolute electrode potential which is also not measurable, because they are all single electrode absolute potentials, right? When these electrodes are connected to the potentiometer is able to measure the difference in potential between these two electrodes, that is zinc and cadmium, right? So we have discussed how charges are acquired, what is equilibrium electrochemistry and what is non-equilibrium electrochemistry. These are all important points that has to be kept in mind when we when we connect the galvanic cell to the potentiometer, right? Just like when the overall cell reaction is given by the potentiometer, what is overall cell reaction? You see, your electrode is able to acquire charge because of a chemical reaction, right? Your electrode had acquired potential because of the charges. Potential is due to charges because of the unequaled, students, I think you just follow me carefully, because of the unequal amount of oxidation reaction that is taking place at each electrode. You have excess amount of negative charge in the zinc electrode and excess amount of positive charges in the cadmium electrode. These excess charges are responsible for the development of absolute potential at each electrode separately. Say for example, cadmium can be called as inner potential of cadmium, at the zinc can be called as inner potential of zinc, and because of this inner potential, when these two electrodes are connected to potentiometer, they show a potential difference, right? So I can come in a reverse direction. There exists a potential difference between these two electrodes. It means that there should be absolute potentials of zinc and cadmium that is existing. Absolute potential of zinc is due to the presence of charges in both the electrodes, and charge is present in both the electrode because of the respective reactions taking place at the surface of both the electrodes. So in short, the potential difference between the electrodes is due to the chemical reaction that is taking place at the surface of the electrode, right? If there were no chemical reaction and if there were no unequal amount of oxidation reduction at the surface of electrodes, then there would have been no potential that is generated. So the difference in potential, that is potential difference measured in the potentiometer, is due to individual cell reactions that are taking place at the surface of the electrode, right? So what I do, if I write the net reaction that is taking place, right? Net reaction that is taking place at the anode. In the left hand side, the overall net reaction is more oxidation. So in anode, left hand side anode, more zinc had become Saturn 2 plus and 2 electron, but there is an equilibrium, but oxidation is more. In cathode, that is in right hand side, more cadmium 2 plus had taken 2 electron to become cadmium. That is, reduction is more, but equilibrium exists. If I add these two reactions, that is reaction taking place at the anode and cathode, I get a reaction. The reaction is zinc plus cadmium 2 plus, then 2 electrons on the left side, 2 electrons on the right side can be cancelled. It's going to be in equilibrium with Zn 2 plus and cadmium, right? So you see, in the left side, zinc and cadmium 2 plus exist. Then in overall reaction, zinc undergoes oxidation and cadmium 2 plus undergoes reduction. 2 electron lost by the zinc is gained by the cadmium 2 plus. Thereby zinc becomes Zn 2 plus, cadmium 2 plus become cadmium. Because of this overall oxidation and reduction of zinc and cadmium 2 plus respectively, you got excess charges in the electrode. Because of these excess charges, you got absolute potential for respective electrodes, and because of absolute potential, there exists a potential difference between these two electrodes, which was actually measured in the potentiometer. So an EMF, I will come to the point called EMF little later. A potential difference between the electrode is due to the exact chemical reaction that are taking place, that is oxidation reduction at the electrodes, at both the electrodes. So the overall cell reaction is actually responsible for the development of potential difference. So when I say potential difference, there should be an accompanying chemical reaction which is responsible for the development of potential difference between these two electrodes. So if I say potential difference without mentioning a chemical reaction, which is meaningless, like if I say age of certain person without specifying which person I am indicating, right? This means that specifying potential difference without specifying for which reaction the potential difference is, like specifying age without specifying for which person the age is actually mentioned. Okay, so whenever you specify potential difference, it is very important to specify for which electrochemical reaction that EMF is actually corresponding to. This is a very important point that has to be kept in mind, because each potential difference that you mention corresponds to a chemical reaction that is carried out at the surface of the electrode. Without chemical reaction, there is no potential difference. And if there is a potential difference, there must be a chemical reaction. And that is the reason why these two should accompany each other, right? Thank you. So this is actually the cell reaction, right? For example, this is how indicated. Zinc is dipped in zinc sulfate solution, or zinc is dipped in a solution containing Zn2 plus ion whose activity is 1. Approximately activity is equal to concentration for ideal solutions, right? So we will discuss about ideal and non-ideal solutions in later part of our sessions. First keep that in mind, where concentration is 1 molar. Similarly, cadmium electrode is dipped in cadmium 2 plus ion solution, where concentration of the cadmium 2 plus ion is equal to 1 mole per liter, right? And you know, these two, this single, we will discuss about the IUPAC conventions of representing the cell little later, but let me represent now. Zinc and Zn2 plus ion, or this is the electrode is in contact with the Zn2 plus ion exactly at the interface is the contacting point between electrode and the solution. This interface, INTERFACE, that interface is the contacting point between electrode and the solution, is actually indicated by a vertical line. This is the interface existing between zinc electrode and the solution. This is the interface existing between cadmium and the cadmium 2 plus solution. Interface is indicated by a single vertical line. Similarly, cadmium 2 plus ion and Zn2 plus ion are separated by a salt bridge. Salt bridge is indicated by a double vertical line, right? And a zinc electrode is actually negatively polarized. Cadmium electrode is actually positively polarized. This is because of excess reduction reaction. This is because of excess oxidation reaction. Electrons started to flow from the negative electrode to the positive electrode. So the direction of flow of electron is from zinc electrode to the cadmium electrode. The direction of current is the opposite to the direction of electron. So this is the direction of electron flow. So direction of current is the opposite to the direction of electron. So current flows from cadmium electrode to zinc electrode, whereas electron flows from zinc electrode to cadmium electrode. That's how it has to be represented, right? So this is the net excess reaction taking place at the anode, net excess reaction taking place at the cathode. Summing these two electrodes, we can cancel 2 electrons on both sides. This is the overall cell reaction that is measured at 25 degrees Celsius, and potential difference shown by the potentiometer is 0.3590 volt. Okay, and there are situations in which your potentiometer shows a negative potential difference also. In this case, EMF of these two cells, zinc coupled with Zn2 plus, zinc coupled with the cadmium electrode, generates a potential difference of 0.3590 volt. There are cases in which EMF is also mentioned with minus 0.3590 volt. It means that your EMF can be positive or your EMF can be negative. Then the question arises, in which case EMF should be positive, in which cases EMF should be negative. Based on what situation EMF is given sign is a question that has to be answered in the next session of the lecture. Right? Thank you.